Hello everyone, Minded Pretty King here, and today we're going to take a look at the F-15 Eagle, also known as Air Raid, from the Uranos set. Before we get into the robot itself, I did want to point out that he does transform into the right leg of Superion or Uranus, whichever you'd like to call it, but we're not going to be doing that today. We're going to wait until we have all 5 of the robots and the little chess piece, so I guess 6, and then that's when we'll put them in his combination mode. But today we're just going to take a look at the jet and the robot and do a lot of size comparisons. I have tons of stuff up here for me to kind of compare to, so you can get a really good idea of how large this guy actually is for a combiner. But first thing, this base right here that you see that's basically holding him down for display when he's in jet mode will be serving as his foot. So this is the right leg of Superion. I'm just going to call him Superion. It does click over once to each way, and then it can click over a second time. Now as you can see that he's kind of resting with his wing, and this is kind of lifting up. So if you wanted to display him like that, that doesn't look too bad. But if you wanted to just do it kind of that middle click, he will fall over because there's nothing weighing him down here in the foot, so there's no die cast metal on these guys. But that right there doesn't look too bad. If you wanted to kind of break up your collection, not do them all in robot mode, or I think that looks pretty good. So let's go ahead and take a look at the rest of this guy here. Now, I did add these 2 Autobot stickers here, just because, I've got quite a few of them. This is what he looks like compared to his G1 counterpart. So as you can see, there's a lot of nice detail here around the wings, the Autobot logos. These were probably just put on backwards. Even here on the sides here, as you can see, this one doesn't say Air Raid. This one, it doesn't exactly say Air Raid. It's A1R1ID. Which wouldn't even spell air raid. I guess if they put a 4 there instead of a 1. But it's close enough to where I knew exactly who this guy was. Not just because of I know all their names, but because it's very, I read that and I think air raid. But the tail fins or tail sections, they look really nice as well. As far as the bottom goes, you can see already that there's quite a few similarities, and there's another little Autobot logo that I put on there as well. So we'll transform that guy here in a second. We'll get a look at him whenever he's in robot mode. Another thing that I wanted to point out, as far as the paint detail on this guy, as you can see, he's pretty much all black except for these thrusters. They kind of painted little silver lines right here to kind of break that up. And here at the ends where the thrusters are, there's a little bit of silver paint, which kind of fades in, which I think was a nice touch because it kind of breaks it up and definitely makes those look a little bit different than the rest of the jet. So let's go ahead and take him off this little peg here. What you're going to do is open, let's see, not that, but this section just like that. And there we go. This has 2 little pegs on each side. You can see them right there on top of my fingers. It'll fit in that little slot there and that little slot there, and you just kind of push them together. Now, as far as landing gear, he has these back here, which do have wheels that actually roll, so that's really nice. And the landing gear here at the front. So we will set him to the side. And we'll take a look at the foot real quick here. We'll just take this little piece out. I'm not really sure if this serves for anything more than displaying them in jet mode, but I guess we'll kind of figure it out whenever we get the rest of the parts to make Superion. But like I said before, this goes 1 click, 2 clicks, same as on the other side, so nice tight joint there. As far as the toe, it can go that far down and go up that far. The heel spur will go down that much, so not really a whole lot there, but does go up quite a bit. So there is the foot, really nice. It's really light though, so this is really tight, so that'll probably prevent him from sliding. So he'll have a nice stance, but I wanted to see whenever you put all 5 of the robots together if this is going to be something that's going to cause problem, it being so light. And one more size comparison whenever he's in jet mode. Here we have also an F-15 Eagle Skywarp. This guy's actually probably about a ½ an inch, if not an inch, longer than G1 Skywarp here. So that's something else that I wanted to show you guys. Maybe this will be a little bit better, give you an idea. So it's enough with size comparisons. I'll make sure that I make annotations, that way If you guys didn't care about this part, you just want to see the transformation, you'll be able to find it there. So to transform this guy, we are going to actually bring the camera up just a little bit. There we go. And put this landing gear up. Put it like that. We'll go ahead and take these missiles off and set them to the side. And with these wing sections, you can leave them on, but I personally like to take them off and fold them up and set them to the side. It just makes it a little bit easier and more convenient to where they don't get in the way whenever you do the transformation. But you can leave them on. So go ahead and push these together and just leave those just like so. This section here with the hands, you just pull this section all the way up. Do the same with this one. Just grab this hand, pull this section all the way up, and then fold this in, which will reveal the rest of his hands. It's a little weak that the fist shows whenever he's in jet mode, but the missiles kind of cover it up, and it's not really that big of a deal to me. And do the same with this one, and there you have the arms, and they have a nice bend as well. This section here, you can pull these down. You can also come back with this section. It just folds up just like so. Forgot to mention that the cockpit does open, and it did on Phantom. That's something that I didn't point out, but because you didn't get a little minifigure to fit in there, I didn't think it was that big of a deal. And then with the legs, we're going to I'm going to take a little pin because it makes it a little easier for me to get in. Lift those little sections up, kind of like your masterpiece figure. And you move these up. Kind of pull the legs down, separate, and do the same with this one. And just like on Phantom, you can see that they both look like they're fully extended. You want to make sure that this gray part up under the knee joint is flush with the black, because this one is not. Otherwise, he's not going to be able to bend 90 degrees there. There you go, and you hear that little snap. And with the feet, just pull down on this section here, spin that around. Do the same with this one. And then you can move these up. Do the same with this one. And rotate his head around. And then you can put these back on. I think they put them on the wrong way here. There we go. And again, if you don't like him in robot mode with his side wings, obviously you don't have to put them on there, but I just want to kind of do it the way that they kind of show, so you guys get an idea. That way, if you don't like extra pieces just laying around. Now they do kind of get in the way here, so you kind of push him so he can bend his legs. But let's go ahead and go over articulation real quick. He can move his head 360. The shoulders do go 360. They go in and out. He also has bicep swivel, bend at the elbow. And the hands, they don't rotate, but there's really no need for it. He does rotate at the waist some. So as you can see, he also has these little side skirts that, or part of his waist or belt section that's on a little joint so they can move whenever you move his legs. He does go in and out here at the leg. Also goes front and back. Does swivel at the thigh, bends at the knee almost 90 degrees, and you do have a little bit of foot posability as well. And we'll put his little guns where you can either put them on the side, which I actually like better, or you could put them in his hand and he could hold them as well. So again, it's one of those preference things, but I'm going to put him on the side so you guys can get a little look at him whenever I do some size comparisons here. And you can pose them, however you like. Now, one of the things we'll take a look at his face sculpt while I transform his G1 counterpart here. His face, it has a little like he's smiling or something like that, so you guys can see that. Looks a little bit silly, but it's not that big of a deal. Otherwise, you know, the face is kind of spot on. Now, the way that the G1 looked, and we'll take a look at him real quick. This silver section right here is actually like his visor. That you can see the light piping is for his visor, and then he's got like a little nose and a little mouth right there. So almost very similar, but really hard to do because, to be honest, the one on the G1 wasn't that detailed to begin with. So let's take a look at him a little bit closer here. Again, with the paint here throughout the knees, the sides, pretty spot on. I think they did a fantastic job with this figure. He also has these little missiles down here on the side, which is really cool. And you know, this opens up, but I'm guessing this is going to be something for whenever he's in his combination mode, because it doesn't really serve any purpose for whenever he's in his jet or robot mode. So we will set these to the side here. Here he is with F-4 Phantom. We got that little guy, and then here's the G1 for him. And give you a little bit of idea, here is what's his name? Dirge, G1 Dirge. So he's a lot taller than him. And we'll move some of these out of the way. There's a couple other guys that I wanted you guys to see him compared to, because he is actually quite large. Here he is with Masterpiece MP12 or 13 with Sideswipe, Red Alert. So they're pretty much the same exact size. Masterpiece is probably just a little bit bigger. And then if you collect Prime or Deluxe or Classics line, here he is with, I believe it's Classics Skywarp. So let's go ahead and get this guy transformed. We'll give you a little 360 here. I think it looks really good. All the different paint breakups on him are different colors of plastic. I like this guy a lot better than the F-4 Phantom, and I do love that figure. I think he's one of the best. So the way that this line is going so far, I couldn't be happier. We'll go ahead and take this section off. We're going to take these wings off again just because I don't like the way they sit to the side whenever I'm trying to transform the guy. Go ahead and spread those out. Pull that out to the side and clip those to the side just like so. We'll set that. And with the feet, pull down, spin this around. And I do love the fact that his transformation is very simplistic. So it only takes you a couple times. And we'll push those together, and you'll pretty much get it, honestly. We'll set that down. We'll go ahead and spin his head around. Pull this section up. And pull those up. And then we will slide these legs in, just like so. There we go. His head's not getting there. There we go. Now these little sections right here, they keep on popping up. That's probably the weakest part on this figure, and that's something that I would be extremely careful with, because you don't want to put stress marks on this and it ends up breaking or something like that. Then we'll come down with the thruster sections here, fold those down, go ahead and flip these up, and we'll fan those out here in a second. And then with these hands, come all the way out, look across, and then pull these all the way out. And with this section, you're going to come all the way down with this black shoulder section. And this is going to sit in there. You want to make sure, whenever you peg that in, that it's actually below this black part right there. Just want to make sure that the camera's staying focused. Looks like that's about as good as that's going to get in right now. Might have to fiddle with it a little bit later on. You can do the same with this section here. It's not exactly
plugging into place for some reason. There we go. Alright, and then with these wings, they're going to peg right in here, and then there's also a little slot right there, a little peg, so you're going to make sure that that goes in as well. And it's going to make that look flush. Do the same with this one. There we go. And you can bend these, fan these out. Attach his missiles, and you're pretty much done. This figure, this is one of those ones again, if you're not planning on collecting all 5, I did recommend F4 Phantom. Same thing with this guy. I think he's just excellent. If you're a fan of aviation jets or the aerial bots, this guy is awesome. And he was probably one of the coolest characters out of the aerial bots. He's the one that's kind of crazy and would just dive in there to attack the Decepticons without a plan. So thanks a lot for watching, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed. Let me know what you'd like to see in the future. Soundwave, Masterpiece Soundwave will probably be next. So I'll talk to you later.